Something's brewing in Litecoin and Bitcoin. What's up, guys? Crypto Savvy here. I hope everyone's having a great weekend. We're going to take a look at Litecoin, then we're going to take a look at Bitcoin. Then, if you stick around to the end, we're going to take a look at the Bitcoin daily chart versus the gold weekly chart and look at the similarities there. That one's been a huge help on me judging what is going on in the market, so definitely stick around for that. Also, I want to remind everybody to leave your comments for to win a free t-shirt. I know I said I was going to do the drawing today, but I didn't get time to figure out the comment picker, so I definitely am going to figure that out tonight, and I'll do the drawing tomorrow in tomorrow's video, so make sure you're here for that. Yeah, I guess that's about it. Let's get into the charts.
1, 2, 3, go!
All right, guys, as always, I want to start out by saying I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. This is my opinion and my view of the market only. Anybody that's doing any trading or investing in this market, I suggest to do your own due diligence and your own research, as this market can be extremely volatile and risky. Also, keep in mind that this is still a speculative market, and don't put in more than you're willing to lose. So with that being said, if you're new here or you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button in the lower right hand side of the screen. Tick the notification bell to get you notified when I post new videos. Smash those likes. Leave your comments, guys. Let me know what you think. Also, leave your comments for the free t-shirt. So anyways, yeah, let's get into the charts. Oh yeah, also, if you guys are enjoying the videos, please share them. Get them out there for me. It really helps the channel grow. I appreciate it. All right, looking at Litecoin in the daily. So as you can see, I have these targets here. I've moved them down a little bit because as the data changes, obviously my targets are going to have to change along with the data. But let's get into the RSI and look at what's going on here. As you can see, I have this kind of rising wedge drawn here with the top support line or resistance line being the white line here. And then the two yellow lines are the rising channel, which we are peaking down here a little bit. So, but remember, this is in a daily. So as long as we get up before the end of the day, we get back in this channel, we can continue back up into this area. So, but yet keep in mind, if we do break down here, obviously we'll start going towards the lower targets. Let's get in, let's get into the 4 hour now and kind of look at what the RSI is doing in that. As you guys know, I don't like to use a lot of indicators. I think they're a lot of noise, and keeping it simple seems to work best for me. And yeah, just to let you guys know, I think all the indicators are unnecessary, unless of course maybe it helps day traders. And that I don't day trade, I swing trade. So my trades are usually 3 days to a week, sometimes longer. But anyways, as we see here, I have the falling wedge, and this is in the 4 hour. And we had a symmetrical wedge here, which we broke down out of, came back up in, tested for resistance, broke through, came back down. We're broke back on the bottom again. I believe we come back up and test this for support again, or resistance. And this is where I believe we could have our continued move up in the RSI back to this area or so to get to the higher targets. But also keep in mind, we could come back down for another touch here. And that would be around my $73 range. Now we're going to take a look at how I got these targets. Sorry if this is a little quick. Sometimes I have a hard time explaining this stuff. But first we're going to look at the lower targets, guys. The more bearish scenario, just to be aware of what's going on here. As you can see, this is a rising channel I've had drawn out here with these two trend lines here. And we broke through over here, and I believe we came back down, testing it for support now. Now, if this breaks, obviously, we're looking at around the $76 range. If that breaks, then we're looking at these lower targets. This first target here, the $72 range. The way I've gotten that one, guys, I was looking at this as a inverse head and shoulders, with this being the right shoulder, head, or I'm sorry, left shoulder, head, right shoulder. The neckline was right here around the 85.50 range. We do a measured move off of the head and bring it down to where it broke out, and that's what gets me the $73 range, which would keep us in this falling wedge. But also, guys, I do want to show you, let's clone this line. This could end up being a falling channel. So keep that in mind. I don't believe it is, but just keep that in mind. If you're doing your own charting, which I suggest you do, don't follow any YouTuber, including me, and make, place your trades off of our opinions. So with that being said, anyways, let's get into the next target. That got us to the $73 range. And then I also have this $65 range down here. And the way I've gotten that one was, I was looking at this as a bull flag, and then this white line here was the bottom of the flag. Excuse me. And we take a measured move of the triangle here because we broke down over here, put it to where we broke down. And that's what gets me to the $75 range, which would also be back into the bottom of this channel, guys. So that's the bearish, and that's if we break through this line here. But we also have to look at this bottom wick here, where people probably would have been entering longs. I know I'm in a long here. I'm in a long in Bitcoin. I'm not playing by Litecoin right now, but a little below this, which would, like I said, the 73, that would be a good way for them to eat everybody's stops up. If it'd be a stop hunt and then continue up. But again, guys, we have to be aware we could come down to the bottom of this channel again. And then I have a lower measured move down here at the $50 range. And that is if we were to break through this channel, we measure the width of the channel, bring it down to where we would break out. And that gets me down to the $50 range. Now, let's take a look at the higher targets, which I think as of now it's more probable that we go up. So, but that's just my opinion, guys. So I am going to give you the targets for those. Now, the first target obviously is the $85, $86 range, and that'll be the top of this wedge. And if we look in the RSI, this little line right here, we could pop up, retest this, and that would get us up to the 85. And if we do break through that, the first measured move would be off of this bull flag here. And I would bring that over here, and that gets me the 106.48 range. Now, the other measured move off of this is measuring this as the flagpole, which is here, and where we would break out. Now, again, this all depends on where we break out, what the exact number is. So these are rough estimates, guys, but that gets me up to the 125 range. So those are my targets for Litecoin. Let's get into Bitcoin and take a look at what's going on here. You can see this trend line I've drew off of these two wicks here going up, and that's where I come up with this target 61.71. There's more to it, and I'll show you that in a minute. But we're going to do the same. Take a look at the bearish and the bullish scenario here. Now, if we look at the RSI, I have this rising wedge drawn here, which we've been getting resistance off the top, support off the bottom. And we do have room to continue one more push down. And if that breaks, obviously, that'll be our bearish scenario. Or we could continue up from here and get our bullish scenario. Now, we're going to take a look at the 4 hour, and then we're going to take a look at the 4 hour chart. All right. As you can see, I have a falling wedge drawn here, which we have room to come back down. One more touch down here, and then either continue up or break down into the oversold. But I do believe we'll get another touch up here and then probably come down. And again, guys, this is my opinion. So you can see here I have this line, this trend line drawn off these two peaks, which also could get us way up here. Now, honestly, this is the target I'm more looking at, and this is that line I showed you in the daily coming off of these two peaks. And let's look at the lower targets first and why I got them there. So the first, as you can see, this is a rising channel I have put in here, which I believe we could be coming up to test the top of this. And I'm going to put a target in up there too also, guys. It's going to be right around this range. Yeah, right around here, and that's going to be about somewhere in the $5,600 range. Let me move that down a little bit. There we go. going to be right in this range. We come up to test the top of this, and obviously I have these two targets here, and this first one is just a measured move of this rising channel. We measure the channel and put it down to where we possibly be breaking out, and that gets me down to the 43.50 range, somewhere in there. Actually, move this up a little bit. Let me move that target a little bit. Like I said, guys, you got to be aware that things change as the market moves, because we don't know, you know, where the breakdown or break up from here would be. So that's right around the 43.50 range is where my target would be for that. Now I also have this target here, the 45.20, and that is from the measured move from this as being the bear flag pull, and measuring the breakdown from the bear flag, which would be in here, and that's what gets me the 45.20 range. Now those are the bearish scenario, guys. And as you can see, if we come down and do the 43.50 range, that's going to be because we broke out of this rising channel, and we come up here, and that would be testing it for support again. I do believe that happens probably eventually over here, but I think we have a continued move up first. And again, guys, just my opinion, but now we're going to look at the higher targets. First of all, we have, this would be the top range of this channel here, and that'd be the $5,600 range. Now, if we look at this as the bull flag, and we measure, and we're looking at this rising channel as a bull flag, depending on where we break out, but that gets me up into the 6750. Actually, I'm gonna move this up just a little bit. 6750 to the $6,800 range, which would also line up with the top of this. But this is the first target I have, and the more likely if we were to break up from here, and that would be measuring the breakout of the channel, and that gets us up to this $6,100 to $6,200 range. And I do believe we have a better possibility of at least moving up to this $5,600 area. And then, like I said, depending on what goes on there, you know, we could make a bull flag here and continue on up and get to this $61.50 to $6,200 range. So those are my targets for now, guys. Definitely keep an eye on Bitcoin here. Whoops. Keep an eye on here on this bottom of this channel. And I would look at, you know, around the 48.90 range, 48.80. If we break that, then we're looking at these lower targets, guys. So, like I said, now we're going to get into the Bitcoin daily versus the gold weekly chart. And if you look at them, the similarities are just amazing. So, as you can see, I have drawn from the all-time high to the breakdown of gold. And I've drawn from the all-time high, or not the all-time high, the second peak to the breakdown of gold. And once we broke through these, you know, obviously we had a big push up. If you know anything about gold, right in 2003 is when the ETF was approved, and then everything shot up from there. So and again, guys, all charts are based on human emotion. So I don't pay attention to the news. I don't pay attention to any of the, you know, rumors or any of the new stuff coming out. None of that. I mean, don't get me wrong, I do like watching people's channels with that stuff and like to keep up to what's going on, but I don't believe that affects the price. I believe the price is always in the charts first. Like the saying goes, you know, show me the charts, I'll tell you the news. I believe the same thing. And human emotion always, you know, just repeats itself. It's cyclical, just like the market. So this is, like I said, the weekly gold chart versus the daily Bitcoin chart. Times are a lot faster now. Back when that, you know, gold was doing all that, it was, you know, times were a lot slower. We didn't have the internet. We didn't have all that stuff going. So as you can see, it's very similar on the bottom too. It did two touches on the bottom. No capitulation candle. As you can see, it was just a nice rounded bottom. And the same thing is forming in Bitcoin, you know, two touches on the bottom. And I believe we're in a, you know, real critical area right now is if we're going to be following that same path. So I did the same thing here. I drew from the all-time high and then the second peak from where it broke down from 6,000, and we're already through those from over here. Then I drew trend lines from each peak to the breakdown, and when we zoom into that, and stick around after this, we're going to look at the RSI too. So, but if we zoom into that, this is key to what's going on now, in my opinion. As you can see, each time we break through one of those resistance lines from the peaks, we test them, and then we come back down, test them again, break through, test it for support, go over to the next one, test for resistance, break through, come up to the next one, test for resistance, we get resisted, come back up, test for resistance, break through, come back down, test for support. Same thing over and over, each one of these lines. This one's, we didn't have much resistance in the daily, but so that leaves me the possibility, you know, we could come back down to this $4,300 area, which was a target in the other. So definitely keep an eye on that. This would be our breakdown area around the $5,000 range. So definitely keep an eye on that, guys. That would bring us down to this 55 EMA, I think, at the 4,300 to 4,350 area, and come back down to test this for support. But the other way, the bullish scenario would be we come back up and break through this, come back down and test it for support. But I definitely believe, you know, in my opinion, I think we're going up here, but I could be wrong, guys. I can't tell the future. I can just look at the charts and see what the charts are showing me. So let's go into the RSI now and take a look at why I believe the bottom is in. Whoops, sorry about that. We'll start out with the weekly RSI. And as you can see, this is the bull market from 2013 and then the bear market coming down, and I drew a trend line. And as you can see, we got resistance here, come back down, got resistance here, come back down into oversold, come back up, tested it, got resistance, and finally broke through, and then continued up from there. If you look at the 17 bull run to the 18 bear market, then this is where we broke down from the 6,000. We got resistance off of this trend line, come into the oversold, come back up, test it for resistance, come down and back through. And then once we get back through, I think we continue up. That's not to say, you know, we don't come down and get some sideways action and whatnot, but I do believe the bottom's in, guys. And we're going to look at the monthly now, the RSI. You can see I have the two arches drawn here, or arcs drawn here. This is the 13 bull run with the bear market following, and each one of these arrows indicates a low on the RSI. There was 4 lows before, you know, some sideways action back up, and the same thing in the 2017 bull run to the bear market here. We had 4 lows in the RSI, and like I said, we could come back down and, you know, continue up from there. Also, with things speeding up with Bitcoin and more people coming in, I think this arc could be shorter. You know, so we could see a bull run sooner than later. I do believe the bottom's in, guys, though. I truly believe that. And like I said, no guarantees, but that is my belief. So anyways, it's free to join the channel. So make sure you clip this Crypto Savvy logo above my head to get you subscribed. Tick the notification bell to get you notified when I post new videos so you don't miss out on anything. Smash those likes, guys. Leave your comments. Let me know what you think. Also, remember, leave your comment for a chance to win the free t-shirt. I will be doing the drawing tomorrow. And thanks for watching, guys. Have a great weekend.